address this to Senator Hendren. There's been a lot of things said here this morning, and I feel somewhat that we've lost a little bit track of actually what's trying to be achieved. Members that were here yesterday remember that I stated that we had a meeting solely to talk about Arkansas's bond rating that we held several months ago. Representative Jett co-chaired that committee, if I'm not mistaken, with me. I think he was vice chair of the committee and was there that day from the House. And Adva King discussed this. This was just previous to the review in the state. And I wanted to ask Senator Hendren, related to the bond rating itself. I actually just pulled up, and Senator, right behind you is the packet, and I've given this to the chairman. Members, I actually wish that every single one of you had this. This is the U.S. state ratings methodology from Standard & Poor's. And I'm sitting here listening to this, Senator Hendren, and my first question to you, and then I'm going to close with a second and let this go so that we can move on. But did you not tell us yesterday, and you've reiterated today, that budget reserves are a part of that methodology? Is that a true statement?
Yes, sir.
Members, I'll be glad to give this to you if you want it now or if you want it later, but on page 12 of this ratings methodology, it actually lays out in great detail the budget reserve methodology. And I want you to remember that since the 1930s in this state, when our state went bankrupt over road bonds, we've not had a AAA credit rating in the state of Arkansas. Though we have the Revenue Stabilization Act and we know we don't deficit spend, we have not been able to get back to that particular level. And I'm just going to say it. We have many people that have run this legislature that are now in the majority that talk about fiscal conservatism and reserves and budgeting, and that we don't want to spend every dollar. I agree with that. And I think most of you would walk out of here and say that. But we're sitting here in a position right now, Senator Hendren, where we have the ability to make a change that establishes a reserve. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
And that's what we're trying to do, is to move that money. And yes, it makes a difference. And all I will say on there is that on page 12 of this, it actually states under budget reserves that all other factors being equal, we believe states with well-funded reserves have greater flexibility to address shortfalls should and when they occur. That's easy. And over the past 2 decades in this country, states that have generally exhibited greater formalization of budget reserve policies. I won't read this whole thing to you, but I want to say that on the facts, don't let us let outside issues and other disagreements keep the state of Arkansas from establishing a reserve and funding it when it's within our power to actually do it. The greatest solitary thing that we could do, aside from the adjustments that are being handled here with Medicaid and things that are on the state, is that this legislative body be the body that decided to fund a reserve and allow us to get a review that potentially could give us a AAA credit rating, which there may be other factors that happen. But I just am a little bit disappointed that we seem to have a lot of other issues now clouding the fact that we have money that we can simply set aside in a true reserve. And Senator Hendren, when I look at this, one of the things that is hitting them that gets you the worst score is that you have no reserve funded, you have no process by which you would fund it when there are good economic times, and you leave us in this situation where we just go rob Peter to pay Paul when it comes time. But having the process in place, Senator Hendren, based upon what S&P says in black and white right here, is the process by which you are attempting to make this change. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the time, Mr. Chairman.